Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Just B, and welcome back to the Just B Show. Now, y'all know, man, for the people that know me out there, you know I used to struggle with self-love. I was super confident, super popular, and all of that until I was about 33. Is when I realized, like, damn, I really don't love myself. Well, today is a very special episode because I brought my homegirl on here, Miss Nicole Scott, the author of Finally Free. And her slogan is From Perfect Storm to Perfect Peace. I was super interested in that. So when she asked me to be on the show, I was like, hell yeah, let's talk about it. What's up, Miss Scott? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm blessed. And yeah, I'm just ready to get this interview popping. How was your day today, though?
It was good. People sometimes try to steal your joy throughout the day, but like I said, protecting my peace is so important.
Oh, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Protecting your peace is definitely important. Before we continue, if you are watching, whether you're just listening or you're viewing it, share this video for me. Start a watch party, whatever you need to do. Cause I mean, truth be told, there's a lot of people in the world that's struggling with self-love, and we want to have the opportunity to be able to help them. To serve them and such in this way. So I mean, yeah. So finally free.
Yes.
Oh, finally free. I actually wrote a poem about that right in the midst of me starting this new transformation for my self-love journey, and it kind of ended with like, I'm finally free with being free. Like
Yes.
I'm finally free. What gave you the idea to write Finally Free?
Basically, just the whole struggle that I went through, and then just the great sense of accomplishment that I felt at the end, because from going from feeling like that I just did not want to be here in this world anymore to actually being to a point in my life where I genuinely love myself, just being unapologetically me and not worried about what others have to think about me. I kept saying to myself, like, Nicole, that this is the most freeing feeling in the world. When I no longer look for external validation, that's when I was like, yes, you are free. So that's how I got the title for the book.
I like that. I like that. Now, Nicole, compliments to you. You're a beautiful black woman, right? Now,
Yes.
I've got a lot of, people have told me in the past, I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but people told me I was handsome. So people like us who people would automatically think like, oh, they love this shit out of themselves. They own it, you know. But do me a favor and just let the audience know how it feels to not, when you go home and you look in the mirror, not to be happy. Just give them a little preview of that.
It's really sad because in every other aspect of my life, I knew like I had it going on. I purchased a home before 30, had my doctorate degree before 35. Like I was like in any other aspect of my life, I was like, oh, you have it going on. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I would constantly pick myself apart. I recently
Yes.
had weight loss surgery in 2019. So that was another layer on it, because I was fat and overweight. Nobody would find me beautiful. And it didn't matter how many people told me that they thought I was beautiful. I really thought everybody was lying,
Right.
and that was like the sad part that it's just like, how can everyone else see the beauty in me, but I can't see it in myself?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just so disheartening for me. And I knew like I have to do something because if I don't change this about myself, I'm going to continue the cycle of being in loveless relationships, thinking that I deserve less than what I should have in life, all because I feel like that I'm not desirable or
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. Trust me, girlfriend. I feel you. I feel you. Let me tell you what I did. Right. What I was able to do. Well, not able to do, but what I chose to do. So I used to always get, oh, you fine, you cute, you light skin. Light skin was in or whatever. I
There it
think
is.
chocolates is in now. I don't know. I don't care. But
It always was in, for the record. Y'all just ain't
right.
know
Right. My bad. My
it.
bad. But yeah, back then that's what they used to tell me. Right. I didn't see that though. I wanted to be cooler, so I covered my entire body with tattoos. You feel me? And
Hmm.
then to validate the fact that I had 200 and some tattoos, I got like 240 some tattoos or something.
Wow.
I was like, oh, well, they all mean something. And now that I'm older and I really do love myself, I'm like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have got all these. God, dog, because they're everywhere. But
Right.
that was the way that I was able to cover up, to mask. I was really just covering myself up because I didn't love myself. You know, I had all the girls in the world, but when I went home and I was in the mirror by my own self, I wasn't free. I was locked away. So big congratulations to you for even writing this book. You
Thank
know,
you.
I can only imagine the strength that it takes to really bow down and just settle down and really write this book. So give me an idea of how were you able to even get the strength to write about self-love? Because I know it was hard.
It was really hard, and I have to give a lot of credit to my therapist. And even still to this day, I believe self care is so important. And, even up to like the day where I knew it was going to be published, I just was like, no, I can't do this. People are going to think I'm stupid. People are going to be like, oh, how can someone so smart be, taken for all these rides? And, I kept talking myself out of it, but it was just that small little piece of me that was saying, like, Nicole, you have to do it for the women who were just like you, who felt hopeless or felt like, they had nothing to look forward to. So it was almost like my need to be an inspiration outweighed the fact that I was scared for what people were going to think about me.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's nice. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how I found the strength. Honestly, I could. No, I actually could. Honestly, from I mean, we're two peas in a pod at this point with this particular topic. But I prayed. It took a lot of prayer, and actually, my whole entire name, Just Be, and everything about it was born from a dream.
Oh, wow.
God came to me in a dream, and he was just like, yeah. What he said was like, Jesus be.
Oh, I
And
love
then
it.
at the end of the dream, when I couldn't really focus on what in entirety what it said, all I seen was JUSB. So that's what Just Be was kind of born out of. But yeah, it took a lot of prayer, a lot of tears. I went through phases where, and this is for the audience too, because we all go through it. I went through
Absolutely.
phases where I was changing my hair color. I was going from short hair to curls to dreads to 5 different color hair dreads to everything, to trying this way of dressing this way, traveling here, being friends with this people, trying to be a gang member, trying to do this, trying to do that, and I still didn't love myself. I still didn't love myself
Yeah.
until
And
I
that's
got
what
on them
people,
knees and prayed.
I know that's right. And that's what people don't understand. When you don't love yourself, you're constantly seeking that external validation. Like you're always trying to fix everything on the outside, but not fixing what's going on internally. Because like I said, I was the same way. Like, oh, maybe if I, get longer weave, or if I start wearing makeup, or if I start dressing differently, all of these things, but it still left me empty inside. So it's like what you said. It's like, and I have a chapter in my book called Suffering in Silence, because
Mm,
people don't understand how detrimental that is to your spirit, because you think that nobody is going to understand or identify what you're going through. So you just keep it to yourself. And
mm,
then you just go further and further deep down in that hole till you don't even know how to pull yourself out. So, like, that was the biggest thing for me with writing this book, that I wanted to draw attention to suffering in silence, because that's what's cost so many people their life.
mm, mm. We ain't even talk about suicide yet.
Yes.
That's yeah, that's a touchy subject for me, but it's all good. But no, yeah, suffering in silence. I'm definitely gonna buy your book.
Thank
Suffering in
you.
silence is a motherfucker, y'all. That's the simplest I can put it. It's dangerous. It's
Absolutely.
dangerous. You feel me? And the suffering in silence is really big for people that don't allow the outside world to see it. Because unless you ask, we're not gonna tell you. And then it's going to be too late by the time you are ready to ask, when you start picking up on different trends that we're doing,
Yes.
different habits and patterns that is starting to be recognized. It's too late, because once we already have it in our mind that this is the end, then that's what it is. It's the end. um so to the audience, if you guys are suffering in silence, please reach out. I know it's not in your nature to reach out, but reach out. I'm sure Nicole wouldn't mind if you reached out. We would rather give you a platform to speak about it, help you, give you a book to read or something. But don't go to the extreme of taking your own life. It's a way out. I'm sure that
Right.
Nicole can witness, be a witness as that too. There's definitely a way out. So what steps did you take? Like, to even get the courage to start to write the book?
Well, I'm a writer by trade, so I've been a grant writer for over 15 years. So I've always had the ability to creatively write. So it started with journal entries. After therapy sessions, I would always get homework assignments, or I would just like to journal about my day. So as time went on, I was just like, listen, like I'm onto something here. So, I had went out for leave for work when I had surgery. So I said, you know
Mm.
what? Let me really start putting some thoughts together. And I was like, before I knew it, I had a chapter. Then I had 3 chapters. So I was like, I owe it to myself to finish. But then it kind of sat for a year. And then I went out again for work and I was like, you have to finish this. You owe it to yourself. So that's basically how I got the book to production.
Most definitely. So if you can name one time at just one space in time where you felt the most discouraged about writing the book, what time was that? Like, how did you get through that?
I would say it was my Heartbreak Hotel chapter
Mm.
because, that chapter caused me to lose friends. It caused me to really just see the situation for what it was. Never ever thinking that I would be that woman that would take a no goods man's words over my friends, and just really doing some dumb stuff. Like, I mean, writing a dissertation for this person and like, and again, but going for that external validation. Like, if I do these things, he's going to see me and see how amazing I am, not knowing that the way you come to a relationship just as you are should be enough. So when I wrote that chapter, it kind of just was like, people are going to just think I'm just so stupid, So I had to push myself through it. And then it's like you said, as women, even as men, at some point in our lives, we have all done something dumb in the name of love. So it just kind of, it is what it is.
I have. I have. I'm a witness to that. I have. I admit it. I'm really glad you said that. Ladies, understand this, and this is coming from a man. If he don't love you for who you are at the core, if he don't love you when you first wake up in the morning, he ain't for
Wow.
you. Believe that.
Preach.
He ain't for you. And this is coming from a man who I used to play the field, when there was a bunch of women and whatever, and I was trying to build women up like a build-a-bear. I'm guilty of that. But I was guilty of that because I didn't love myself. I didn't even like who I was. You feel me? But now I would love to love a woman at her core for who she is. Whoever she wakes up as, that's who I want to be with. That's who I want to cherish. I want to fall in love with that person. Not who she is after y'all get all dolled up and stuff. Not
Yes.
saying anything is wrong with getting dolled up. By all means, handle your business. Get extra beautified. I don't care. But if a man don't love you for who you are, don't switch up for him. Don't do it. I mean, unless you're negative. If you're a negative person, then fine. You feel me? Make some positive changes. But if he's trying to change you to be better for him, don't do it. Be better for yourself.
Absolutely. Because in the
That's
end, it's
it.
not going to work. So it's
Yeah,
like, if you
that's
do
it.
all that and you still get your heart broken in the end. So yeah, just
Yes.
save yourself.
Hands down, hands down. Yeah, well, you kind of answered my next question is, have you ever made, certain decisions out of love? And you definitely answered that you have, and that sucks. So let me ask you this. As far as with the community, are you doing anything with the community to kind of help the fight against like mental health awareness, suicide awareness, anything like that?
Yeah, so I have been doing a lot of Q&As centered around Black mental health because, again, not realizing how much I knew it was a problem, but not realizing how much it is a problem. And what I've been learning through these panels is it's not just prevalent in the Black community. I've learned that it's prevalent in the Palestinian community, so we share some of the same cultural values. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, once I wrote this book, I said, that's my assignment. My assignment is to bring awareness to, Black mental health, and then just making sure that I'm giving people the tools how to bring themselves out. And that was so important for me in this book. And, as you'll see, that not only did I share, the trials and tribulations and the triumph, but I shared the lessons along the way. So I made sure to include, those very important lessons that my therapist, imparted on me, because that's what helped get me through. So, maybe if people aren't ready to see a therapist, at least you have some thought provoking questions and exercises that you can start looking at, and then maybe as the time goes on, then you'll see that it's just not, as bad as you think it is. So I just want to normalize therapy, because I had someone ask me one time and they said, well, how long are you going to be in therapy for? I said, well, as long as I'm alive, because at the end of the day, life is always going to happen. So, it's not so much from a place of despair anymore, but it's just, how can I better adjust to, the situation that life throws at me? So, I can't just say, oh, in December I'm going to be done, because again, I'm just learning. I'm loving to learn the new things that I'm learning about myself, and then being able to share those things with other people.
Right. That hands down. That's big. That's big. Keep it up, girlfriend.
Thank you.
Keep it up for sure. Keep it up. Keep it up. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you just mentioned about the Palestinian community and all of that, but do you feel, as far as the black community is concerned, do you feel like mental health and self-love is a big problem in the black community?
Absolutely, because also there's everything telling us not to love ourselves. The media, politics, just, the senseless murders that we are seeing, on a far too frequent basis, so not only do we have that, within our own community, we're being told that, everywhere we look. So, it's very difficult to keep yourself positive and just say, hey, I'm black, I'm proud, I know I deserve to be here, when you have everything to the contrary. So that's why, it's so important, for me. And like, I was lucky to be raised by people who were very rooted into the black culture. So, for me, this has been a fight that I've been doing since I was a kid, so I just want to, always encourage people and let them know that we may be down, but we're never out. Like, don't ever count yourself out, because at the end of the day, no one can dictate, your path for greatness.
Yes, that's for real, for real. Let me jump into some of these comments. I had a few viewers say some things. Let me see. I like to give everybody that shout out because I appreciate everybody that
Absolutely.
supports the cause. Lindsay says, "Thank you for following the call." Yes, yes. I'm sure this for you, sister, but I do not want to murder the name.
Khadid,
Um,
yes, that's my sis.
Khadidra, all
Yes.
right, there you go. Hey, sis, you're gonna do fabulous. Girlfriend, I ain't want to murder your name, so don't get mad at me. This person says, I def have almost got engaged too. Once I discovered the truth about what I was getting myself into, I walked it out like DJ Young said.
Hey.
Walk it out.
Yes.
Yes, yes, I feel it. Good thing you left when you did. I'm glad you didn't get yourself into some shit.
Absolutely.
Facebook user, mental health is very important. And then last but not least, therapy is so taboo in the black community, it shouldn't be. That's true though. That's true though. I don't know why else black folks be like, therapy? I ain't going to no damn
Yeah. I
therapy.
don't need therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
for real. So let me ask you this. Since I mean it's obvious, I mean, I ain't gonna put your age out there, but we up in a we different ages than the new kids on the block.
Yes.
But social media is huge. So what are some words of advice that you would give to somebody that's having problems with self-love, but they're heavy on social media? Because social media will drag your ass.
Absolutely. And I would say you have to unplug. And that's what I had to do, because this is like you are constantly comparing yourselves to other people. But I'm like, people can present themselves to be whatever they want on social media. Because remember, sometimes they're just like, oh man, I wish I had, a good guy to do this with. But again, we're just seeing snapshots of people's lives. It doesn't mean that that's that on a daily basis, because we all go through stuff. So I try to tell people, like, sometimes you just have to unplug and detach yourself, because it's just we just have that ability to just start comparing ourselves to other people. And I tell my daughter, who's 13, and she's not big on social media, but she loves TikTok, and and I have to tell her sometimes, like, again, people are doing these things for likes. You don't know what people's true stories are. So I don't care. And I would say, I don't care what anyone else's parents are letting you do, but when you hear, like, this is what it is. So, as parents too, I feel like that we have to be very vigilant in what we're letting our children be exposed to, because it's everywhere you turn.
Yes, yes, yes. I definitely agree with you there. Um, yeah, Just as Nicole Scott said, y'all, if you having problems on the internally, if you internally struggling with some shit, it's okay. You know, it's part of life. But seek help, and if you are heavy on social media, please get your ass off.
Yes.
Take a moment to yourself, breathe, turn the phone off, hit the power button, do what
Yes.
you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Hey, even though I'm big on social media, like I have a big presence on social media. Um, and I'm just always getting into things, and I like to reach out to people that's, I stalk people. In a good way though. I stalk you just to learn about you before I go and approach you and ask you to be on the show. Or even when people such as yourself ask me to be on the show, I just like to get in there and figure out what people are going through. But even I, with being a podcast host, has to take time to myself to just unwind, detangle myself off of social media, because it'll jack you up. Lord Jesus, it'll jack you up for real. So, with that being said, I love to know people at the core. So, tell me a little bit about who Nicole Scott is at the core, besides just the book. And, what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do?
And that's the thing. I think now that I'm at this place where I am in my life, I love my solitude more than anything. I love to travel. We haven't been able to do that in a while,
Right,
so I really just enjoy being around genuine people. I really have cut down my circle of who I choose to, allow in my space because again, protecting my peace is so important. But I
right,
love my family. I love being around them. We all live in New Jersey, thankfully. So that's just what brings me joy, just being around, my family, my friends, and that's what I like to do. I'm not one to be out, be around large groups of people. I'm more of a small, intimate setting type person. So when you first meet me, people, think I'm standoffish, but I'm very observant and I like to read a room. So I may look, like I'm not approachable, but I'm really just scanning the room. So like I'm
right.
very analytical like that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I had to ask that question to see what kind of lifestyle you live outside of this social media world.
Listen, well, the fact that I don't really be on social media, that should tell you. I'm just like, listen, I just like my peace and quiet.
Right. That's pretty awesome. So as far as writer's block, have you ever came across having writer's block often while writing this book?
Often because for me it was just always grappling back and forth like, well, how raw should I be? Should I
Right.
leave this out? Should I put this in there? So I would often get stuck because I was trying to rewrite the narrative or not make it as cold or
As juicy.
Right, basically, so I was like, I had to keep telling myself, like, Nicole, if you're not going to do it all the way, don't do it, because that's the only way that you truly connect with people when you're being authentic, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's why I've been able to connect with people because I didn't leave anything out,
Right.
so it's just one of them things like you just got to go full throttle.
Yeah. So I'm in the midst of writing a book. And
Yes.
I'm glad I seen your book was called Finally Free before I stole the name on accident.
Then I'd be like,
I'd have been like, oh, my bad. But yeah, but I definitely understand it because I'm having writer's block. I'm only on the second chapter, but I'm giving an example of my life. Because
hmm
people, like I said before, people look at me and they think, oh, he must be the most confident man in the world. Like we was talking about before the show, everybody thought I've been doing this podcast stuff forever. I just
right.
been doing it since May. But it causes me to be authentic. You know what I mean? Like it causes me to open up and just be genuine about what I'm doing, and I have to because of the things that I touch on the show. But I'm having an issue with writer blocks because I know that I want to leave certain stuff out because I'm like, ooh, if somebody read this shit, it might be a problem. But I'm having to get past it. So what are some steps that you can give me to get past that writer's block?
Well, I would say change the names to protect the innocent or not.
Okay,
That's
fair
one.
enough.
Two, the biggest piece of advice I have to give you, I would say just put it all in there because once you write this book, you're going to be met with nothing but such encouragement and inspiration. And you just have to keep telling yourself, there are so many people waiting to be inspired by you. When you think about all the lives that you touched when you're, mentoring kids in the, Clark County School District, just think of how many more you're going to be able to touch. Those people who won't necessarily verbalize, but, you may get a message in your inbox or whatever, and that's going to be the thing that said, you know what, I'm so glad that I did that. So you have to do it because there are people waiting to get their hands on your book.
Awesome. Oh, you just inspired me, girl.
Oh.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. No, that's pretty dope. So let me ask you, if the audience wants to purchase your book and all of that, where can they find it?
Amazon and barnesandnobles.com. So I don't have an ebook, just paper version right now. But yeah, it's definitely on Amazon and barnesandnobles.com.
Cool. Make sure that you send me the link, or you know what, or right after we get off, you can go and put it in the comment section.
Okay.
Or you can send it to me however you want to do it. It don't matter, but we got to make sure we definitely get a link on to your purchases. I mean, to your book, so they can purchase, because I definitely want to purchase it myself. If you're unaware, the way that I like to do the interviews, we do the interview, you keep it simple, and then I purchase your book. I support everybody. I'm gonna do a separate video showing your book coming in the mail, because I like to give that clout for everybody.
Yes,
and then I want to come on and do a separate interview to talk about things that I've read in the book.
Yes,
so
you got to do that.
You down to come back for a second one, right?
Yes, because when you read the book, your mind's going to be blown. Like I said, we barely scratched the surface of what's in there. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely with that, because I need some motivation, girl. Because my book is gonna be just gonna be juicy.
Well, and I'm here for all of it. So now that I know that you're working on the book, I'm staying on you too. So.
Oh shit!
It's over for you.
Cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So what's next for Nicole Scott? You've written a book. What's coming up next? What you got coming up next?
So a lot of different things, but the thing that I'm most excited about is the podcast that me and two of my girlfriends just started. So very excited about that. So, I just hope that people continue to check us out, because it's really just, talking about lifestyle, loves, and laugh. And that's basically, what this journey is about. So that's, something that's, we're working on now. And then I'm really thinking about doing a second book. Now that I know my purpose in life, I feel like it's time to now, now that I've helped people get to the point of like releasing themselves from all the shame and guilt, I want to help people figure out what is their assignment, and then how can they use that to make this world a better place.
Awesome. And what's the name of your podcast?
BNZ Sisters, with 3 S's on the end. I'm going to put that in the chat box too, because like I said, very excited about that as well.
Yes, make sure you guys go and subscribe to her podcast. Yo, I checked it out. The first episode was dope. The fishbowl idea was super dope, let me tell you. I loved it.
And it's just gonna get better from there. So I'm be sitting there looking at you, trying to get some ideas, because I said, listen, I'm feeling that background right there, so I gotta switch it up next time.
Yeah, hey, whenever you want to come and chop it up with me or whatever, we can talk about it. I'll give you some ideas, tell you the best way to order this stuff and how to get it, because wait till you find out what it all is. Then you're gonna be like, damn.
Oh, well, let me take that back then. We just started, so yeah, let me take that back.
Nah, that's super dope. The last question that I have for you, Nicole, before we jump off this podcast is, so do you believe that the self-love journey is a lifetime journey?
Absolutely, it is, because it's one of those things, and I know for me, I do have to constantly like recalibrate myself, because there'll be moments something's happening and I'm like, oh, Nicole, like you need to stop, because ultimately there's always things that we can improve on, so I was letting, with the pandemic and me, picking back up some weight, and I'm just like, you know what, but at the end of the day, you still bad, but I'm not going to say it because I don't know who's listening, but you know what I'm trying to say. So
I'll say it for you. A bad bitch. I got
that right there. So no, but it's definitely a lifelong journey, because like I said, life is always going to come. There's always going to be something that's going to kind of, mess with your thinking a little bit. So, and self-limiting beliefs, that's another thing in the book. And that's really huge too, because it's more the subconscious more than anything that makes you think things that aren't really true.
Yeah, I feel you. So the way that we end the show is like this, right? I want you to give, I normally ask for 3, and you can give 3 if you want to, but I'm going to ask for 2 pieces of advice. One to be to upcoming authors that want to write, since you are an author. And then the second one is just a piece of life advice. I'll give you about 1 minute if that's cool. Go ahead, do your thing.
I could do it. So basically, for anyone who's thinking about writing a book, my advice to you is just to do it. At the end of the day, just like I was telling Just B, there's always people waiting to be inspired by your story. Don't ever be ashamed of what you've been through because everyone's pain has a purpose. So as long as you keep that in the forefront of your mind, you're going to be successful. Because if you keep it in your heart that you're writing this book for other people to inspire them and less about yourself, there's no other way to be but successful. And if I can leave people with one piece of advice, it's two actually, because like I said, the suffering in silence piece that we touched, never suffer in silence. There's always someone that can identify with you and can help you. So don't ever think that no one has been there or they're not there to support you. And the last thing, always protect your peace. Be okay with saying no, setting boundaries, and just letting people know that where you've been in your life is not where you're going to finish.
I love it. I love it. Hey, and I just
Yay!
wanted to tell you this before we jumped off. I love your pieces of advice, first of all. But let me tell you, for you to be someone who was struggling with self love, girl, you are glowing like a mother right now on this show.
Thank you.
Just the tone in your voice and everything shows that you've overcome some great obstacles, and I'm proud of you. I
I
just wanted to tell
appreciate
you
that.
that.
That means so
And
much.
for my last piece of advice, everybody just watching, y'all know how I do it. It's three pieces of advice. The first one is to smile, laugh, and definitely motivate. If you can do that at least one time a day, I promise you, it'll not only change your life, but the lives around you. Number two is inspire one to inspire all. Inspire one person, let them inspire somebody, then let them inspire somebody, and eventually everybody will get inspired at one point in time. And last but not least, I'm gonna drop it like this. Y'all know how I go. Be better than yesterday. We love y'all, and we gone.
Good night, everyone.